Hello and welcome to a showcase and playthrough video for a new game I have made. The game is called Airlift Stalingrad. It is a heavily abstracted war game set during the World War II. This is the setting that I love the most to turn into games of all kind, and it is a solitary game, very hard, of course, and I'm gonna show you all the components and I'm gonna show you how to play this game. For now there is only tabletop simulator mode. I'm writing the rulebook, which could change, so take this playthrough with a grain of salt, because some of these things might get changed to multiple plays to find some balance. Although my main goal for this game was to be really hard and not easy to beat, because as we know, this represents the encirclement of the 6th Army in the Stalingrad, and they didn't manage to break through. They actually surrender, and that's what the history says. So in this game you're probably gonna relive that scenario multiple times. You might actually win if everything comes through, and if you manage to form some kind of a plan or get lucky. Alright, so let's stop with the blubbering and let's explain the components. So what you see on this screen is the all components for this game. We have dice, multiple dice that are used by ourselves and by the game. These red dice are actually used by the Soviets. You roll these dice for all kind of stuff. Here we have some cubes in color, 3 red, 2 gray, 2 green and some white. We're gonna form a bag of these cubes, and we're gonna pull these cubes from a bag, applying some effects, but you'll see how that works later on. We have soldiers, Wehrmacht soldiers. Here is represented with these gray cubes. We have Junker transports. Those are like airplanes the Germans used to do the airlift for Stalingrad. And by the way, if I forget to explain, you are controlling Germans, trying to help them with these airlifts and trying to hold the line and form some kind of a plan for a breakthrough, or be relieved by the Operation Winter Storm. So that's your objective. Alright, so these yellow cubes are planes. Then we have some tokens here in these bags. We have these parachute drop tokens. We have these fortifications, which are actually double-sided. We have these Soviet controls, because you actually could lose some of these areas on the map. One disrupt token. We have these fuel, which are represented by these gray cubes. We need the fuel to break through, and multiple scales here. So we have a food, or Suppe on German, morale here. We track those, and the weather. And we also have orders here, as you can see. Führer trying to come up with a plan with the Goering what to do. So there are some orders that you can also have here. Alright, on the map, this gray area here is representing the part of the Stalingrad and around the Stalingrad where our German units are set, and all around them are Soviets constantly attacking, bombarding, putting a pressure to destroy the Germans in this encirclement. And we also have a deck of cards called operational cards. They are split in some little decks. So we have a standard operational cards, 36 of them. We have some Lul turn cards, 4 of them, Blizzard cards, 4 of them, and only one card called Paul Surrender, which comes into play later on. Alright, so let's set up the game, and I'm gonna talk you through how to play. So for the setup, on the map is almost done. here where they're thinking how to save you, you're gonna place a little token on the space with the mark no orders. So far you don't have any orders for breakthrough. You stay put, and you know you're gonna be until they come up with a plan how to save you. Weather starts as clear, but that will probably change. We have only 2 food. That's how much food we have right now, and our morale is on 3. And we have 1 fuel save for the breakthrough, and we need more. We need to fill up this little scale here to be able to break through. On the map we have these locations for the army groups, and what we need to do is to form this deck, and then using these cards pay for the units, airplanes and fortifications on the map. So basically these cards here, these operational cards, will give us some actions we can do, but that's also a timer. So when they runs out, if we don't manage to break through from the Stalingrad by that time, we're gonna lose the game. So the more cards you have, the more chances you have to, you know, build up your strength, I mean your fuel reserves. And the less cards, less time. But you also need units in each area, because if you don't have units in each area, it's going to be really hard to hold the Stalingrad. So the more units you buy with these operational cards, the less time you have. The less units you have, more time you have, but then you're gonna get attacked, and those units gonna die or get wounded. So you need to strike some balance. For my first game I decided, and also you need to buy these airplanes. You'll see how that works. So let's first form this deck. So you take all the 36 cards, and by the way, these are excuse me, I wasn't around much because I was kind of sick. That virus that goes around finally got me too, so I'm a bit you know, still recovering from it. Sorry. So these operational cards have like 3 stages, and I will show you. So there are stage 4, 3, and we already see it too. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna shuffle them all together, and then we have to decide what kind of game we want to play, because we're gonna add some of these lull in blizzard cards. If we want to play an easy game, we're gonna place all these 4 lull cards. If we want to play a medium game, which we're gonna place 2 of these lull cards and 2 blizzards. And if you really want to, you know, mess up your life, then you're gonna place all 4 blizzard cards. In the end you will have a deck of 40 cards, and then you're gonna shed it by buying units. So what I'm thinking, playing a medium, so I'm gonna flip this so I don't know what I'm placing. So 2 lull cards, 2 blizzard cards, then we're gonna shuffle this deck again, and that's it. These cards will not be used, and these pulse cards might come into play later on. I'm gonna place it here for now. So this is our operational deck. I'm gonna shuffle it once more, and I'm gonna actually place it here. Then we're gonna form this card right from it by buying units. So what do we get right from the start? Well, we have 18 planes here, but we're gonna start with 12. So these are our planes, and then I can buy some more by discarding cards. Ratio is 1 plane 3 cards. So, or I could just not buy anyone. So I'm gonna place the rest of these here. And now for the soldiers, ratio is 1 soldier 1 card. Well, it's not a soldier, it's like a little army group, like a platoon or something like that. They represent multiple you know, soldiers. So now is the time to place some of them and pay for them. And when you're placing soldiers, you're gonna place them over these icons of the army groups. So for instance, if I want to place 2 soldiers in this area called Stalingrad, I place 2 and then I discard 2 cards. So the question is how many soldiers I want to place. So let's do something, and also we can also place this fortification that comes into play completely build up, but they cost 2 cards, and also you place them like this over these icons, and then if you want to place soldiers on them, you place them on the fortification. So for now I'm thinking to do something like this. I'm gonna put 1 fortification here. That's gonna cost me 2 cards, which will discard immediately. And then I'm gonna place 1 soldiers in Chernaya, 1 in Stalingrad, 1 in maybe 2 in Gumrak. That's gonna cost me 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4 more cards. I'm already at 34 cards. Then I'm gonna buy another fortification and place it in Peskovatka. That's gonna be 2 more cards. And I'm gonna place 1 soldier here where the pause is. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 more cards are gonna go away. So 27 cards, 27 turns basically. Everything rest I'm gonna set aside. I could even buy more, maybe 1 more fortification, but if I do that I'm afraid I will not have enough time maybe to form a breakthrough. So that is the part of the setup. You basically have to pay with the cards. I didn't take any additional airplanes, they are really expensive. So this is the pool of my airplanes. I have 12 of them. That's how much you start with. And we are ready to play the game. Setup is quite easy. Shuffle some decks. Oh, we forgot one thing. We need to form this bag here. So this bag is connected with these operational cards. You'll see how that works. So we put all of these, 3 red, 2 green, 2 green, and then we add 1 white, and that's it for now. Actually I think I should add 1 more white to make a game easier a bit for me. No, let's not make it easier. Let's just add 1 white. These dice, these cubes you can add into the bag. I need to shuffle this, and they can help you out to, you know, not get hurt too much with these event cards. Alright, so let's go through the first turn. Turns, we have a turn sequence here. So first thing we need to do is draw an operational card. So I'm going to draw a card here, and then we're going to talk about it. So this is a level 4 card. You know this by this Roman numeral number 4 on the top, which means during the, now I'm going a bit in forward, but during the, let me show you this, draw cubes and resolve the events, that's the last sequence you do from this turn. We're gonna draw 4 cubes from this bag. So these level 4 cards are the worst one. More cubes you draw, more chance something bad is gonna happen to you. Operational cards are marked with numbers, so this is 32 of 36. Then we have a group of icons that are connected with these lines, which actually represents the actions we can do this turn. But you can only do 2 of these actions, and they must be orthogonally adjacent. So for instance, if I wanna play this action here, let me try to show you. So if I want to play this action here, I also have to play this one. So they have to be together, or they can be connected like this, or like this, or on the bottom. and I'm gonna explain these actions as we go. Most important thing right now is in this center you can see -1 DRM. So I have -1 DRM dice roll modifier for this whole turn. That's like a passive effect. It's for this turn, so it's always active, which means when I roll some dice I'm always gonna have a -1 on them. And then on the bottom we have some little like a red banner, like a, you can see like something. This is something that's going to happen later on. So the next thing it says, if possible use 2 actions. So right from the start I'm going to use 2 actions, and I'm going to explain them as we go. So this action with the like a radio equipment, this means that I can roll a die and try to change no order to either Operation of Winter Storm or a breakthrough, because the only way I can win the game is if Führer actually, you know, allows me to do either breakthrough or get a relief force. So that must be on one of these 2 spaces. Now if you check here, orders from Berlin, so no orders, hold at Stalingrad. If Operation Winter Storm is active, it says there must be 4 or more fuel reserves in the breakthrough scale, and weather must be clear. So I need 4 fuel or more, and weather must be clear. And then I roll 2d6, and if their sum is the lower than the sum of food and morale, which in this case would be 2 and a 3, so that's a 5. If I roll 2 dice and roll less than 5, this would be failure, I fail and I immediately lose the game. You have only 1 roll and you have only 1 chance. That's the only way I can win. So this must be set. I need the orders, weather must be clear, I need enough fuel, and I need to roll a dice. Well, with the -1 DRM, I think I roll a 7, it would be 6, it would still be a failure because I need to roll lower. So basically you need to push this food and morale up as much as possible to get a chance. You need the food, morale, you need the fuel, you need the clear weather and orders from Berlin to actually be able to break through. And you have only 1 chance. You roll once, and if you fail, no, breakthrough failed, game over. And you need to put yourself into that position to have the most chance for, you know, to be able to break through. That's why I'm saying this game is pretty hard. Alright. Breakthrough is even harder because fuel reserves must be completely filled and weather must be clear, and then again you roll 2d6. So I need more fuel reserves for the breakthrough. Now this is how it works. If I want to use the action and change the order, I roll 1 die. If I roll a 5, we go to Operation Winter Storm. If I roll a 5 or 6, sorry, we go to Operation Winter Storm or a breakthrough. I can choose which one of these I want to try. Usually you probably want to try a relief force, but if you have enough fuel, you know, you might actually go for the second thing. Alright, so I can call Berlin and call for change of orders. Right now it would be stupid to do so. The other, like a little spade or shovel, you can see, this action allows me to either fix one of these fortification, because when they damage you flip them like this. They still are like a fortification, but they are damaged, so if they suffer another damage you remove them from the space. Or either I can fix one fortification, or I can build one half fortification. So 1 step wherever I want, in any area I want to do it. Alright, so with a little shovel we can build or fix the fortification. Then we have a little soldier. This allows me to move any soldier from one area to another area, anywhere on this little map. So this helps if you know where the attack's gonna happen. Like if you check here on these 2 red lines on the bottom. We know that the Soviets might attack center and Gumrak. So this is a center, this is a Gumrak, and I have some fortification and soldiers there. And then they also might attack Potomnik and Rohoshorska. So Potomnik is here where I don't have any units, and Rohoshorska. So in this case, using an action to move troops maybe from Gumrak to Potomnik would be actually good. Why? Because if they attack and there are no soldiers here, they're gonna take this area. We're gonna take one of these Soviet control, place it over this, and now I'm one step closer to lose the game. Because if I lose 3 or more areas, and by the way, I cannot get these areas back. They are lost till the end of the game. So once they have a control over them, I can't retake them. I lost Potomnik. And what's worse, there are some icons here which are very important on the map. And these are the probably 4 areas you need to keep them most alive, let's say like that. Okay, so I know they will attack, maybe depending on the cubes I'm gonna pull from this bag. So I know in advance, sometimes it's random, but right now in advance I know what could happen. So moving troops to Potomnik would actually be good, and maybe even making a bunker. But here's the problem. If I don't have a unit in the bunker is useless, because it is not considered like it's fortification, I mean, but without soldiers inside it's useless. So right now building a bunker on Potomnik would be also a stupid idea. And lastly, we have this little fuel, and this is how you can get some fuel here for your breakthrough. You're gonna roll a die, and if you roll higher than your current fuel, you're gonna place one fuel here. So I need to roll 2, everything but the 1, because I have 1 fuel, so everything higher than 1 will add me more fuel. But I have a -1 DRM, don't forget that. Alright, so now I'm gonna do 2 actions. And what 2 actions that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move troops and I'm gonna try to get more fuel. So I'm gonna take, let me see where the attacks might happen. Center and Gumrak, okay, Potomnik, Rohoshorska. Okay, I'm gonna take 1 army group from rear guard and place it in Potomnik. So if they attack here, at least I will be able to defend. And then I'm gonna try to get some more fuel. I have -1 DRM. So I'm gonna take one of my dice. I need 2 or higher. Of course I'm gonna get 1. So no fuel. I didn't manage to scavenge some fuel for because with the -1 this is actually 0. Alright, let's go back to the turn sequence. Now we're gonna roll for weather. So we're gonna roll 1 die. It's a 6. And if we check, 6 to 4 is clear weather. Good for us. We're gonna be able to do our airlift right now. So, but also kind of bad, we will see. So next thing is send up to 6 airplanes. So this is where you have to manage these airplanes. Now you're probably asking, why would you never go all the way up to 6? Well, this is how it works. These are airplanes we have on multiple airfields outside the Stalingrad, and they could be damaged, they could be completely destroyed, so they could go to repair section, they could get destroyed, and they could also manage to, you know, do the drops. Every 2 airplanes you place in this placeholder called Airlift Stalingrad gives you 1 die and 1 of these parachute tokens, because and gives you 1 white die. This is really important. 1 airplane, so when you have odd number of airplanes, instead of a 1 of the white die, it gives you 1 black die. You also get parachute tokens. So you can see that depending, so if I send another airplane, this black die will turn to white die. Now what's the difference between the white and black dice? Well, the black die is kind of bad, because if you have any enemy planes, and whenever the weather is clear you're gonna probably have some enemy planes, if when you, now I'm going a bit forward, but you're gonna roll this dice, you're gonna place these parachute drops hoping to score these numbers, because it's not, there is no like a sure thing that these drops will fall where you want them to fall. So for instance, if I put a drop to Peskovatka and Petomnik and I roll these dice, and you see this little number, this is 2, 3 and 4, if I roll 5 or 6 or a 1, nothing will drop here. This will drop actually outside the zone, and Soviet is going to pick them up. So I will not get any supplies. So you basically are hoping for the number of these areas when you're rolling, but I'm going a bit forward. Alright, so I have to decide how many airplanes I want to send. The more airplanes I'm sending, the better chance I'm going to get supply, but also better chance they're going to be shot down. Okay, so I decided I'm going to send 4 airplanes for now, which is going to give me 2 white dice. I'm going to place them here, and 2 of these parachute markers where I'm hoping, you know, to put the supplies. Alright, so we done that. Okay, it says if weather is clear, roll for the number of enemy planes and resolve the air combat. So we're gonna take 1 red die. We have a placeholder for enemy planes here. We're gonna roll that, and we get 2 enemy planes, which is not bad. The smaller the number, the better, because now we're gonna have the air combat, and this will affect how many of these transfer planes manage to, you know, get to the Stalingrad. So how this works is simple. I'm gonna roll 1 die, and if it's higher than the number of enemy planes, nothing's gonna happen. But if it's lower, then the difference between the enemy planes and let's say I roll a 1, that's gonna be 1, I'm gonna lose some planes. They're gonna go here, and then this will change. I'm gonna lose 1 white die, I'm gonna get 1 black die, so this will affect the level of the transport of these supplies. And don't forget, I have a -1 DRM, so I need 3 or more, actually I need 4 or more just to beat this, because if no, yeah, 4 or more, because with the -1 it's going to be 3 or more. Alright, let's see, will I lose any planes? Of course I'm going to lose some planes. Alright, so 2 and a 2, the difference is 0, so I'm not going to lose, well, I'm going to lose at least 1 plane. Now it's not for sure lost. All the difference is 0. Since I failed, you have to place at least 1 plane here, but there is a chance it's not like destroyed, maybe damaged, but not destroyed, because everything this game that goes destroyed goes out of the game. Everything that goes like wounded or damaged go back to the place where you can actually purchase them back if you manage. So since I didn't roll explicitly 1, I mean difference is 0, this plane actually might survive, just damage, but it will affect my dice here. So instead, since I have an odd number, I have 2, gives me 1 white die. Now I have 1, gives me black die instead of the white die, and this is bad, and we will see how when we, so that was the air combat. This plane is damaged or maybe lost, we'll see. Set the airlift targets. So now I have to decide where I'm gonna put these supplies, and it's time to explain you what do I get from these supplies. So for instance, we see that we have some attacks in the center and Gumrak, so here and here. possible attacks, and attacks on Pitomnik and Roshoshka. So here and here. So if I manage to drop supplies, let's say in Potomnik, and Potomnik gets attack, I just remove the supplies because my soldiers use the munition, defended, everything is fine. Okay. Normally when you attacked, any soldiers goes to the hospital, they are wounded. Now if Potomnik doesn't get under attack and I get these supplies, then I have some chance. This is like a little shield, okay, against losing my soldiers. But also if Potomnik doesn't get attack, then I can use these supplies in a way depending on this icon here. So I can roll and try to score higher number than the number that is actually here right now and rise my food. Now you need food because when the food goes to 0 and the end of each turn while the food is 0, you're gonna lose one of these soldiers. They're gonna go to hospital first, but since the hospital has like limited number of spaces, if you have to fill it over the hospital space, it's a game over immediately. They don't die. They die probably. They can't get to hospital, but when the hospital fill up completely, it's a game over. There are lots of game overs in this game. So for instance, if my morale goes to 0, I shuffle this card into the deck, this operational deck, and if I pull it out during my play, power surrender, game over. If I lose 3 or more of these areas, game over. If I lose all my planes, and at the beginning of the turn I don't have an action to get new ones, game over. If I don't manage to break through before this deck runs out, game over. What else? Yeah, if the hospital fills in, game over. I already told that. If I lose all my soldiers, they are either dead or in the hospital, game over. But by that time you're probably gonna also lose the areas because you're in constant attack. So far doesn't look any good. But I'm thinking to put the supplies in the Potomnik. Keep in mind that this -1 DRM doesn't affect these dice for the drop. Okay, nothing affects these dices. So if I roll a 5, it's not going to turn into 4 or anything. This is only for the rolls when you have to get some food, morale, some air combat, and some fuel, and so on and so on. So if I put another parachute here and I get attacked by the Soviets, and I have 2 parachutes, one will be used to, munition for defense, the other one I can actually use to increase my food supply. But I'm actually gonna go here hoping for some fuel, and now we're gonna roll our dice. So I'm hoping to get a 3, 4 or a 5 on these 2 dice. And don't forget, DRMs doesn't affect these dice. Now the black die, if I just the example, when I roll these dice, if the black die that I roll is higher than the number of planes, nothing's bad's gonna happen. But if it's anything else equal or lower, I'm gonna lose this plane, it's gonna be destroyed, goes out of the game. It's not damaged, it's not gonna return to base somehow, or I can fix it later on. It's gone. So that's the problem with the black die. As long there is some airplanes here, if I don't roll, if my black die doesn't roll higher than this, any place, you lose some of them. Alright, so basically, like, air combat is not over yet. They shot him after they tried to return. So I need a 3, a 4 or a 5. Oh. Alright, so now if this was another 3 here, by the way, just to explain this, if this was another 3, then I can actually put this supply. Actually I can't. I can. So 2 3s would put 2 supplies here, so you can transfer. That is possible to do. But resolving this, I have a 3. So this did fall at Potomac, and then I have a 2. I didn't target at the 2, I needed 5, so this is gone. And what is worse, this airplane is destroyed and gone out of the game. I'm gonna place it here. So this I can buy later on, but this one is completely destroyed. Alright, let's continue. So we roll for the airlift targets, resolve the airlift effects. So I can either go and get some more food or keep this as an ammunition against the attack. So I'm actually gonna try to raise my food. So I'm gonna spend this and I'm gonna roll on this here, but I need 4, 5 or 6 because I have a -1 DRM for those. Come on, 4, 5 or 6. Yes, so I raise my food from 2 to 3, and that's important. That's good that I have some food from that supply. Alright, all dice go back. Where is the black die? Here it is. So we resolve the airlift effects. Now draw cubes and resolve the events from the operational cards. So I need to draw 4 cubes because this is a level card, and if I roll any reds, I'm gonna draw all the cubes in the same time, and then I'm gonna resolve any red cube. If I get only 1, I resolve only the top part. If I get 2 reds, I have to resolve top and the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, this is quite bad. So there will be infantry attack in the center and in the Gumrak. So let's resolve that first. So when infantry attacks, so here in the center, if I have any people in the bunker, all fine, nothing happens. So this, I mean here, because bunker is really good against the infantry. They don't get damage, I mean this fortification doesn't get damage, and everybody here is safe. So nothing in the center, but in the Gumrak, since I have soldiers on the open, they get wounded. I can decide which one to take, but they go to hospital. So I have 1 soldier in hospital there. Then we have another cube. This 2 cubes doesn't really matter because we don't have any more of these events to resolve. Potomac and Rohoshka is going to be attacked. So we know that at Potomac we have a guy here, goes to hospital, and Rohoshka goes to hospital. So you already see my hospital is filling up. I have a problem because, as I said, if you have to place people in the hospital and you can't, game over. Actually your morale goes down. Sorry, just let me check something. No, your morale goes down, but as your morale goes to 0, it's gonna lead to the game over. Sorry, I totally forgot about that rule. What's worse, Potomac, rearguard and Rohoshka are now not guarded by any troops. I don't have any army there. So if they get attacked again, they're gonna be captured. So I need to get my guys from a hospital back, or maybe from other of these areas to hold back. So you see, it's gonna start to become really hard as you're losing guys. You're trying to move them around if you have those action, and keep the safe these areas. So that was the first turn, and already I'm in trouble. So I'm gonna shuffle this back, and we're gonna go to the second turn. These dice here stay here until the weather changes. So if it goes to fog, snow and blizzard, we're gonna remove this die. Actually, let me check something. Does that work like that? There is no air combat for fog and snow, and on the blizzard we remove it because they will not fly as same as we. But there is no air combat because they can't find you in the fog and snow. but there is some other problems with the focus now. So this airplane is gonna return back. So I already lost one out of my 12. And we go to turn number 2. So again, draw the operational card, and it's a blizzard. Weather conditions are very bad, there are no available actions for today. So I lose an action, this goes to blizzard. No flight, which means there is no airlift, and we remove these enemy airplanes, at least they're also gone. So no flight for today, which means no supplies. And I still have to resolve the rest. So I skip all this. I don't roll for the weather, because it's already set on the blizzard. No sending airplanes, we skip all this, we go directly to draw cubes and resolve the events from the operational card. And we have 2 events, either my morale is gonna go down or artillery will strike Peskovatka. And how the artillery works, where's the Peskovatka? It's here. How the artillery works, if you have people in the bunker, you destroyed 2 steps. So this bunker will be completely destroyed, but these people survive. Okay. If it's 1-step bunker, you destroy the bunker, but they go to hospital. They get wounded. But these guys will get saved. I'm just gonna lose the fortification basically. So that's, well, depending on, because I have to draw, this is a level 2, I have to draw 2 cubes. Okay, let me shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Okay, a gray and a white. Okay, this is good. There will be no artillery attack. And by the way, let me tell you what happens if artillery, let's say, struck here, where I don't have any guys in the bunkers. If you have 2 soldiers, one go to hospital, one is killed. Out of the game, one go to hospital. If there is only 1 soldier, he is killed. So it goes kill, wounded. If there is a bunker, remove both steps. If it's half step, wounded. So that's how artillery works. So lucky for me, we have these disruption cubes, we call them like that. So Soviets didn't manage. They did bombard, I mean they didn't bombard, but our morale during this blizzard goes from 3 to 2. Alright, let's go to next turn. Let's play one more turn, and I'm gonna finish this video and continue later on, because I don't want this video to be really long. Another level 4 card. No orders, so this stays here. Sometimes this will tell you to move this. They allows me to try to break through, or or Operation Winter Storm is going on. Let me immediately go to see what will happen. So Chervelenaya, oh, I can't pronounce these places. Chervelenaya, I guess, is disrupted. So what the disrupted means? It means we're gonna play, if it happens, we're gonna place the token here, and then it's gonna stay there until I spend 1 action to remove it. And I can spend any action. So for instance, let's say I want to do these 2 actions, and I say no, I'm gonna actually what this means, you can't send drops here, you can't move troops, you can't build bunkers here. It's just disrupted, but for the cost of 1 action you can remove these tokens. So sooner or later it's gonna be removed, or some other place could be disrupted, in which case you move this to some other place. But that's might happen if I draw that cube. And then we have the artillery attack that's gonna strike Kumrak and rear guard. It's gonna strike here, which will kill this troop, and the rear guard, no troops there. But artillery is not an attack of infantry, just pounding this place, so nothing's gonna happen here, just gonna pound that empty space. But here I will lose some troops. So knowing that could happen, now let's see what kind of action I can do. So we have some new actions. We already know that the little soldier means I can move troops. Fuel means I can roll for fuel and try to get more fuel. This anti-aircraft gun here, if there was any enemy planes, I could roll a die, and if it's higher I destroy all the planes, so remove them. Really good if you have the airlift and you don't want to have fights with them. And this is most important, I can actually get 1 plane from this here, from this from Berlin, I guess, from hangars back to my pool. Alright, but here, as you know, the problem is must be adjacent, so I would really want to go for the fuel, but I need this plane, so I think I'm gonna use a plane and a soldier. So there is a possibility Gumrak will be attacked by artillery, so I'm gonna move this soldier to center, and I'm gonna get one plane, a new plane in my pool. Wait a minute. Okay. Roll for the weather. 2, that's a snow. If it was a clear, we would roll for enemy planes, unless I use this action, because once I actually need to make a token and place it over this field, so we know you use the anti-aircraft piece. Yeah, I need to make the token. That's need to remember that. Okay, weather is snow. Now this -2 DRM affecting the weather, that's going to affect the number of planes that could get actually lost. Some of them can return to base, some of them can get damaged and go back here. They're not going to get destroyed, it's just a question, will they like be damaged so you lose them? They're not going out of the game, or they're going to actually manage to return back. So flying over the snow is really bad, and you'll see why. Now what this DRM dice roll modifier means. So when you have a fog or snow, instead of air combat, because Russians doesn't fly when the fog or snow is, only crazy Junkers pilots. Instead of air combat, you roll a die and you apply this dice roll modifier, and if the number is lower than the number of planes you sent, the difference between those two numbers will be placed in lost planes, and then half of them gonna be going to damage to hangars, half of them is gonna return to base. In any case, it's gonna affect your airlift, because you know flying in the snow conditions is really bad. So with a -2, if I send 4 planes, I'm probably gonna lose some plane, because even if I roll a 6 with a -2, it's gonna be 4. I need higher number, so this time I think I'm gonna send only 3 planes. So 2 will give me 1 white die, 1 will give me 1 black die, but that's fine because no Russian planes here, so don't really care if any can get lost. Still, the snow, we'll see how it's going to affect how many of these airplanes. So I need a 6 or a 5, right? 5 -2, no, I need a 6. Ooh, this actually could be bad. Oh, 6 -2, that's a 4, higher than the number of planes. So they flew through the storm without any problems. Alright, so basically we skip all of this. Set the airlift targets. Okay, set the airlift targets. What do we want to do? We probably want to try to go here. Why? Because of the hospital. If I drop this parachute here, I could put one guy from a hospital back into the front line. So I would need a 6, and probably want to try to go, so 4, 5 or 6 would be good for me, because I'm gonna put one in the Grumrak where I'm hoping to boost my morale. It's really pretty low, so I want to boost my morale. Or should I try 5 or 6 to get some fuel? No, let's boost morale. Let's boost morale. So 4, 5 or 6. 3 and a 2. No DRMs from here. So both of these supplies have fell who knows where. I didn't get any supplies this day. Wow. Okay, resolve the airflow effects. Nothing. Draw cubes and resolve the events from the operational card. So level 4, 4 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4. This doesn't mean anything, this doesn't mean anything, but I have a red. So Gumrak and rear guard will take artillery hits. No one in Gumrak, no one in rear guard, nothing happens. They are pounding with artillery, but I managed to move my troop from there, so we are fine. Alright, so I will stop the video here. You get some feeling how the game works. I'm sorry if I'm a little, confused sometimes, because I'm playing this game basically play testing it right now. So some things, my rule book is not completely formed. It's all on the paper, all over my room. So sometimes I have to check some things. In any case, I will continue this playthrough to the end, but you can already see that right from the start I have 24 more turns, but I have a feeling I will not survive more than 5. How it's going right now, but we'll see. Also, let me return these planes back to my pool. At least we have lots of planes here still. Alright, so see ya in the next video when we're gonna continue this playthrough. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you like these videos, please put a little like. It helps me to get noticed by the YouTube. Goodbye.